Spider-Man say? He says, suck well, flesh flies. That's... All this sounds wrong. This is stupid. Guys, this is fucking stupid. Shit. Fuck, I guess we're marveling.
Gathered around the campfire of antiquity, joining our ancestors.
Yeah.
Remembering the most
these
important
clay
tales.
pots together.
Yeah. And I appreciate that you all wore loincloths for the occasion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's comfortable. Working at home, you
It
know?
really is.
Yeah.
Very breezy, too. Glad about that.
It's festive.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, shit. Welcome to Marvelin, folks. Welcome to the first episode of Marvelin.
It's Marvelin.
A show we definitely rehearsed the intro for.
Yeah, I just want to say, I want to let everybody know that Adam paused to sip some tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually not tea,
tea.
if you
Is it
really
not?
want accuracy. No, it's espresso.
Oh,
Because I am the fanciest boy.
even
among the three of
cooler,
us.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, very fancy.
Well,
Absolutely.
that's... should we say our names? Should we go around
Sure.
the campfire saying our names?
Sure.
I'm David Bell.
I'm Adam Ganser.
And I'm Tom Ryman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we are.
And we're going to tell you all a story today.
That's right. The
Yeah.
story of
The story of an Iron Man.
Yeah.
perhaps the paterfamilias of our godhead, right? If you
Right.
think of this as a pantheon story.
Well, yeah, we think it's important, right? We don't know what the future holds, and maybe someday people will be having to tell these stories, passing them on from generation to generation.
Right.
And so we're in like it's sort of a retrospective. It's sort of
It's an oral history.
an oral history
Yeah.
of the MCU.
Yeah, because I think we all agree the chances of all these media pieces surviving in the future is getting lower and lower.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank God
And
we're here
by
to
the
remember
second.
it for you. Yeah, absolutely.
Right, and all three of us, I think it's safe to say we are MCU historians,
Oh, yeah.
experts.
Yes.
So we thought
Deep
we
knowledge.
would who better could do this retelling of the MCU.
I love
Than
the
us.
joy that you have just saying those words as though they were
Well,
true.
you know, it's because
thrills me.
it's not only an honor, it's a duty.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
that's right.
And so today-
I'm glad that we all paid so close attention and were so obsessed and thrilled and delighted by all of the Marvel movies over the years that we've embedded them so firmly into our memories that we're able to share them around this campfire with subsequent generations who may have missed out on it otherwise.
And
Yeah,
I'm
so-
thrilled by the feats of strength and spiced meats we'll consume immediately following this ritual. You know, just thrilled by that.
So yeah, gather your kids around the podcast. It's time for the story of Iron Man. 2006, 8. Okay,
It's 8, yeah, yeah.
2008's Iron Man.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's right before the Obama administration.
Okay.
You know, it feels like it.
Starring Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
and Jeffrey Bridges and
Gwyneth
Gwyneth
Paltrow
Paltrow
Yep.
and
and
That's right.
Don Cheadle, always Don
John
Cheadle.
Cheadle.
Don Cheadle. No, it was Terrence Howard in this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God, it was.
It was.
Okay. And
It was.
Terrence
Yeah, yeah.
Howard
yeah,
as Rhodes.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
That's
And
right.
who I guess we're just gonna go through it bit by bit. So let's begin. All right, opening. It's the Marvel logo. And then we open in
The desert.
Iraq, the desert.
Yes.
A desert and seemingly a hostile one because we're in American Humvees, so we know it's not good over here,
Right.
right? Yeah. So and
Things are bad.
Tony Stark is rich, has an electric goatee, and is
Man,
being
yeah.
interviewed.
It's real sharp.
Yeah.
He's
Oh yeah.
chatting up-
Dracula
he's-
goatee in this
he's-
one.
Yeah. It's very
He's
sharp.
chatting up the army people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they seem like fans. Like they're fans
Yes.
of him, right? They're like, "Hey, Tony, can I ask you a question?" He's like, "Sure, I'm bored, but sure."
Right.
Right?
And he's like, this better not go up on your MySpace. He says MySpace, right?
He does. He does.
MySpace is a little known sponsor of the
They
first
take a
Iron Man.
picture. They take
Yeah.
a picture, and he's like, "I'm rich. I like war."
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Which he
Yes.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
And
a
then
direct
they're
line.
there they're there to test
He
a
actually
missile.
says- he's just
I'm ready to
driving
like war.
with his head out the window saying, "Whoa!" Just throwing gold
Doing that
coins
tongue
into the
thing
air. Whoa!
like DX would do.
Yeah.
War!
Whoa!
Yeah, it's great.
So they park the Humvees to test a missile, and the missile is the dual. It's like dual strikes.
Yeah,
or
lots
like,
of strikes. No, not dual. It's
it like explodes and then it explodes.
yeah, it's missiles within missiles, right? It's like the Russian nesting doll of missiles. Do I
Yeah,
remember?
it's a super missile.
Yeah, it's mini missiles tucked neatly inside one missile.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, in case you're like, hey, I need a place to store my extra smaller missiles. Put it in the
Yeah.
big missile.
It's
know?
big. Yeah, exactly.
that's right.
And they
It's
blow
a
a mountain.
pretty rad missile.
Well,
Yeah, and he sticks his back to it, and he's like, "I'm Jesus," and then the smoke hits him, and it's like that's not an effective missile, I guess. If you can just like stand in the Christ pose and let the debris just hit you, but he
wash
does
over you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd
It's
think
cool,
you'd
though.
think he'd have taken a couple of shrapnel blows earlier in his
I
career.
mean, it was
if
really
that's how
far
he's doing
away.
stuff.
Oh yeah, that's how he figured it out.
Yeah, that's right. Like
his
this is all trial and error.
His
You know
legs
what I
are
mean?
already iron. They're already titanium
That's
legs.
right. He's really
Right.
shrapnel man before
Yeah,
this
he's-
before this movie
He's
starts.
caught a few before this.
Yeah, that's right. He had to get talked to by Jarvis
Figure
and
out the distance. Yeah.
his talking arms and shit.
Is Jarvis? Jarvis is there.
Yes.
He's
well,
not
not in
at
the
this-
desert. Jarvis
he's
is
not
his,
at
is his
this moment.
smart home.
Okay.
So, and forgive me, I just want to make sure I get the oral history of this correct. Don't we start with a shoot? Like, there's a horrible shootout, and we're like, what happened
so,
here?
well, no, I mean, we're really we got to get into detail here because
Yeah, yeah.
we're all
Because
we
of
gotta-
the accuracy of us remembering it.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Yeah.
he throws in martinis, right? He's like, hey, let's all have a martini
Yeah.
with the army.
I remember that.
One of the
'Cause he's a-
missile cases, one of the Jericho missile cases is like a mini bar. It has
It's Jericho.
drinks and-
That's right,
It's called the
Jericho.
Jericho missile. Yeah.
Jericho. Okay, real quick, if you're
It is
if
not
you're-
subtle.
If you're creating a missile, and you're like, what super awesome fortress am I going to name it after? Right? How about
Right.
Jericho, the one that fell over? You
Well, I
know
think
what
that's
mean?
why, right?
I mean, I guess
This
it's
missile is going
forecasting.
to knock it down.
Oh,
I
it's
see.
gonna
Fair
get
enough.
you, Jericho. It's
gonna make
they
it
should have
Jericho.
named it
you
that.
as a
Yeah.
verb.
I see. You're getting Jericho.
He's gonna put you in the walls of Jericho. That's what he's gonna do.
Oh, see
Right.
now, put him in a lion tamer. I'm all on board. You know. Anyway, different podcast.
So they get attacked by people.
by people who
10
do not
rings.
yet have an eye patch. There's not.
Yeah,
they don't
yeah,
yet
yeah.
have eye patches. Soon, though, they will.
Yeah, it's this group called the 10 Rings.
Okay.
Love it.
They attack the army. They kill everyone, but
They do,
we
yeah.
don't
Tony
know
Stark
who
gets
it is
shrapneled.
at
We,
this.
we don't
point.
know who it is yet, but they reveal
Yeah.
themselves later that they are the 10
Right.
Rings. They
Right.
Right.
drag-
the
they
10
put-
rings.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just sitting on that for a moment. Like the names of things in this movie are incredible.
Why are they called the 10 Rings?
Yeah.
because it's a reference to the Mandarin. who
Why
has-
is he called the Mandarin?
Because comics were racist casually back then. I mean, now
Got
the
it.
character has been. I mean, the character is. I think Mandarin Chinese is from that area. He's a Chinese guy who found this alien technology in the desert and made rings out of it that gives him abilities, and he has 10 of them, one on each finger. So
Got
it was that character was Iron Man's primary nemesis in the comics. But he's not in this movie. So this
Right.
was like sort of a wink to fans that like this is a connection to the Mandarin and maybe he's coming in later movies. And of course he does.
I'm sorry. I'm
Not to undermine my
not-
own
I don't-
legitimacy, but you could have told me he was in this movie, and I'd have said, "Oh yeah, I remember that."
right.
You could have
I
immediately
hate
told
to.
me that.
I don't want to derail this. We'll never have derailments on
Yeah,
this.
I don't know what that
show.
would mean.
But
Yeah.
so it's named after the amount of jewelry he has.
Yes.
And what it's made
That's
of.
I
It's a
just
reference to his
assumed-
power rings.
Right. I just assumed it was like these are like crime rings and there's 10 of them.
yeah.
Right. Yeah,
And like
an
it's
intersecting
just-
crime network.
That's terrible. Like that's naming your group like the Four Necklaces.
Well, I
It's
don't
like,
know
why?
if it
Because the
was-
guy who runs us has like 4 necklaces.
But he
on.
doesn't, though,
So that's
right?
what we've
'Cause-
called ourselves.
Like-
but he has 10 rings.
Yeah. No, I think this is
Oh,
more.
but you're saying he doesn't.
No, I don't think he actually has anything to do with this group ultimately. Like, I think this was, they just
So why
named.
are they called that?
I think they just did. I think it's just an Easter egg for Iron Man comic book nerds.
I think
Like,
we
I
can
think
fix
that's
this.
just the name of the group. And like you said, it sounds like a reasonable name for like a terrorist organization. It's like, oh, the 10
Right.
different cells or whatever.
I think we should agree in this podcast. I think we should agree on this podcast. Anytime we can't answer a question like that, we fix it. I really
Well,
do.
yeah.
Hell
I
yeah.
think we should fix.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
no answer we can't. There's no
That's true.
question we can't
That's true.
answer.
We can
Fucking,
answer
we're
every
scribes,
question.
baby.
Yeah.
Fix the text. Let's fix
Yeah.
it. You know.
Okay. So why are they named the 10 rings?
I like the idea that between them they have 10 rings. They're all just
Yeah.
wearing rings. None of them
Like
are good
he
rings.
Captain
gave
Planet?
he gave each of them one. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
with
the
his
Kings
face
of
on it.
Men or like Captain Planet. The
Yeah,
Planeteers.
Oh yeah. And when they call together, they summon that guy, right?
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
That's a whole
Amanda.
thing we don't see. Real tragedy.
He
So
doesn't
Tony
show
Ta-
up till way later in Shang-Chi.
Okay.
We
Great.
get
He
the
gets-
fake one in Iron Man 3.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Which
he
I
gets
remember.
shrapneled in the chest, right? By a bomb?
Yes. Yeah, one of them
missile?
thingies hits his heart. It like cuts his heart valve or something. They put a bag over his head and drag him into this cave, I think.
Yes.
and
and
he's-
then
Yeah,
we
yeah.
get
This
credits.
is Tony Stark we're talking about. now.
Correct. Yeah, Tony Stark
yeah.
is getting dragged into this here cave and he meets his friend.
Wait, no, we get credits.
We get
credits and go back in time, don't
Well,
we?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
And now we're going to explain who Tony Stark is
Yeah.
in
And
a montage.
That's when I was like, ooh, this is aged very well because this is exactly the kind of character I want to root for right now.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
there's like a
son of a
voiceover, right?
billionaire,
They're
good
like,
idea.
Tony Stark.
Right.
He's he's billionaire playboy. He's
Right.
on all the magazines. Look at this magazine.
Right.
Look
His
at this
dad was
magazine.
cool, but now he's
Yeah.
dead. But Tony's
Yeah.
not.
Jeff Bridges.
That's what they said. Jeff Bridges.
What is their... So, like, Tony Stark is in charge of Stark Industries.
Yeah, which is a longtime defense contractor
Got it.
for the government.
Yeah. And then
As a
Jeff
pet
Bridges...
project, they also make energy sources, but they
Yes.
don't make a lot of money on that. That's a plot point that matters later.
Yeah,
Right.
Tony's been
Yeah.
they've been tinkering around with this renewable energy technology. Yeah,
Called the arc energy, right?
yeah,
Okay.
because it's
Yeah.
cool.
It is cool.
You get way more
definitely-
investors if you call it something rad.
I
I
agree.
definitely remembered the arc energy.
Yeah,
What is
arc
the
energy.
point of the arc energy?
It's just a way of renewing
renewable
your
resource.
energy source.
Okay.
And also,
Does
a
he
way
see that through?
He
I guess
does
we're getting ahead of
actually. Yeah.
ourselves.
Do you
Yeah, yeah.
remember in the beginning of Avengers, he's plugging in New York to his arc generator, like he powers New York City with it later.
This
in the
guy
series.
takes his heart out 50 times in the course
He
of this
does.
franchise.
It's wild.
All he does is like take out his heart and just power shit with
Like
it.
that's
you know what I mean?
actually
So-
his ability. That's his superpower. Is his heart. Yeah, he just
to
has
live without a heart
removable
for a while.
That's like a battery. It's like a
I feel like
diehard
we're
battery.
getting ahead of ourselves, but I am.
This is all part of the mythology, Dave. It's all connected.
Right.
If you're going to ask a
Iron
question,
Man,
I'm going to
his
answer.
heart. Well,
That's
so
right.
what is? Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
So
this
he
is
has
great.
shrapnel in his chest, and the
Yes.
shrapnel's gonna get his heart,
It's slowly sinking like it's a poisoned thorn into his valve, is how I understand
and
it.
you can't get that out of there.
No
It
surgery
is-
can fix it, Dave.
It is too fine. We are told. Well, he's in a cave, and the only other doctor in there is another physicist. I forget his name. His
He dies.
No, you don't.
glasses.
You don't forget his name.
man.
Yeah.
The glass man. That's what they call him.
Yeah, Glass.
Jim Glasses.
Yeah,
Jim
Jim
Glassman.
Write it down, kids.
Jim
Jim
Glassman.
Glasses.
Jim Glasses.
He's pretty limited in the amount of heart surgery he can do for Tony in this cave, and they're just these very, very fine pieces of metal he can't extract from.
So the solution-
valves
It's a
around his
strange
heart, I guess.
limitation. It's a strange limitation since Tony Stark himself can invent new forms of energy in a cave if he needs
Right.
to.
Well, okay. So what the solution is I remember
we're told,
vividly.
we are specifically
we
told
need
that
to use a
nobody
magnet,
can do
right?
this surgery. It's impossible.
It's a magnet that sucks off the metal, right? Mm-hmm. And it's powered
Sure.
by his arc reactor.
Yes.
Yes,
Why-
he's got a perma-magnet in his chest cavity
Okay.
to
Aren't-
keep the blades of the shrapnel in place.
Yeah.
Yes, Dave.
Most magnets don't need to be
Sucked up
powered,
into his
right?
heart.
Well, they do when they're invented in a cave by the 10 rings. You know what I mean? Because
Okay.
those are some turbo shrapnel, Dave.
But you just need a magnet in this moment, right?
I think so.
That's all I would need, but
Okay.
I can't say what Tony Stark would need. I'm not
I
in his
feel
shoes.
like we're
Dave.
missing the opening sequence, though, where we're talking about how he's a billionaire.
We're missing
and
the prelude of this. Yes.
Yeah,
that's
he's
right.
winning some award at like
Obsidian Stank is his father's friend.
old
and,
Medea
like,
stained.
Yeah. And like he
Big
It
fan
took me
of
a
Mud
while
Shovel.
to figure out what Obsidian Stank meant, and I really like that name, and that's the right one, man. Like that's the correct one. Well
so
done, Dave.
he's his
He's his new daddy.
father's friend.
Yeah, he's Uncle Boss, is what he is.
He's Uncle Daddy.
All right, what is
Boss
he
Daddy.
in the company?
Uncle
second
Daddy.
in command. Yeah, he's like
okay. He's the
He's
first Uncle
also
Daddy.
CFO
Uncle Daddy
or
of
whatever.
Stark Industries.
He's winning an award for best rich.
He's accepting the award for Tony because Tony's off fucking.
oh,
He's off
right.
getting drunk and fucking because Tony's
a
rad.
journalist, incidentally.
oh, he's like in a limo, right? Am I getting that?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm fucking,
Yeah,
and there's ladies.
yeah,
But I thought he was
Okay.
sleeping with a journalist specifically.
he is.
Yeah.
I thought that was later.
Let's say yes. Let's say all he does is have sex with journalists.
Right, he just rolls
That's 'cause
from one
that's
to the
easier.
next one.
He
He's
wants
just
that
Okay,
news
so
to
he's-
travel.
it's like a
He's
slinky.
fucking, yeah, he's fucking journalists.
yeah.
Doesn't he show up? He shows up after the award,
yeah,
does
yeah.
he?
Yeah.
And he's like,
That sounds
I'm
right.
Tony Stark.
That sounds like something
and
he
then
would do.
I think this is where we get, and we should identify this in every film. The Stan Lee cameo.
No, I think
right?
that's later.
Where he is. Oh,
That's
I thought
later
he's
on
Hugh
when he
Hefner.
shows up and wait. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. He shows up later at the other awards ceremony that Tony Stark
he's
goes
Hugh
to,
Hefner,
but late.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just
Yeah.
collecting. He's Howard Hughes.
Yeah.
Well, his dad's Howard Hughes.
No, I mean
right.
Stan Lee. Stan Lee is Hugh Hefner,
Oh, he calls him Hef.
right?
Yeah,
So Stan Lee is playing Hugh Hefner
that's correct.
in this universe.
Yes. In this
And he's
universe,
in the-
he's
I think it's-
playing Hugh Hefner.
Yeah, I think it's our responsibility to say yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
that he is literally Hugh Hefner.
I mean, the guy was limited in his acting ability anyway, so you can see why that's the role he auditioned for and got cast in, right? You can see it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, just to recap. So
Yeah.
he's getting an award for best person,
Yeah, best
And,
rich
oh,
genius.
and then Jeff Bridges accepts
but,
it for him.
Obsidian
and is
Stank,
like,
I think.
Yeah.
we agreed.
right, and he's like, he's so busy. We cut to Tony Stark. He's fucking a journalist, like,
Yep. As
really
per
going
usual.
at it.
Yeah.
And then he meets Hugh Hefner, and then Pepper Potts is there, right?
Yep. Not related to Hugh Hefner, but yes. Pepper Potts is just working the night. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like
She's his assistant, right?
yeah, correct.
And she's like, "Oh, Tony."
Assistant
That's
and
our
like,
Tony.
It seems pretty clear at this point in their career, she's not in charge of the business stuff.
She's just his assistant.
She's
Correct.
yeah, she's just a very capable assistant.
She's
And
kind
then
of his professional mom. His professional
Right.
mommy.
Yeah.
Then we're at the Malibu home, right? And he's fucked the journalist.
Right.
Oh, and the journalist is like, "Hey, Tony, I have a question. How about the fact that you're a piece of shit?" And he's like, "Let's fuck." And then they fuck, right?
Yeah,
That's how I remember that scene going. Yes,
it is. Yeah.
pretty much.
She's like challenging him.
Right,
and
it was a fuck
they
Yeah,
challenge.
she's challenging him. Yeah, definitely.
And he accepted.
The challenge was, "Will you fuck me if I say this?"
Yes,
and he's like, "I
it's-
have no
it's like
standards."
they were looking
and
at
she's
each
like,
other.
"Great."
Yeah, they were like, "I sense we are fuck peers."
I sense you also would like to race to the bottom, shall we? And they do. Yep.
We should meet in the great circle.
And for just so for the history's sake, what is the name of the journalist?
Rivers.
Rivers. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's yeah. She turns into somebody some later. I
Talladega Nights. That's her name.
Rivers, Talladega Nights.
Rivers Talladega Nights.
All right.
Boy, I love it.
So they fuck, and then Pepper Potts throws her out.
Yeah, she
remember
says she
that.
calls her trash and says, "Get the hell out of this house, trash."
Classic.
Yeah.
And Jarvis says, "Please get out of this house, trash."
Right,
beep, boop."
Jarvis is there. I
And then he
remember.
makes the rug drag her outside.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember she meets Jarvis here. We meet Jarvis.
We
I feel
do,
like,
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Because Tony's already like collaborating with Jarvis on some nonsense, right? Like that's what he does in his free time is invent incredible
get- He
technology.
He made himself a best friend that he can talk to.
Yeah.
And then, do we go back to the cave now?
No, so what happens is he is a little bit like late for stuff, you know, because he's too busy messing around with Jarvis. He and Pepper Potts have a conversation where she's like, some version of, hey, you can't keep going on like this, man. And he's like, but I'm gonna, you know, and
then he
she's
buys
like,
a painting.
yeah, he buys a painting. That's how they resolve most of their differences is, yes, I'll get that.
It's for her?
No, it's
No,
just
for him.
another one for him.
He just instructs her to buy him an incredibly expensive painting and then immediately put it into storage.
Yeah, a Jackson Pollock. Basically, he's the same as MoMA. He's doing exactly the same thing MoMA would do, but it's just his own private collection, right?
Right.
Buy
Or
it,
he's like
put it
Billy
underground.
Zane in Titanic.
Yeah. Well, nobody's Billy Zane from Titanic. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's
That
fair.
Jackson
Yeah.
Pollock, he'll never amount
Won't
to
amount
anything.
to anything, yeah. It's like he already did, Tony. Like,
Yeah.
no, I do
Decades
declare.
ago, Tony. You're paying
That's why
millions for this painting.
That's why
this-
we're buying the painting.
Is this true, Jarvis? What the fuck do I know? You didn't program me to know art.
This is all still Act 1, right?
Yeah.
Is the Act
Yeah.
2 break when we go back to the cave?
No, that's
gotta
when he
be.
gets back from Iraq.
Yeah, like,
Really?
Act 1 is really long in this movie if you define acts as when somebody finally takes the heroic journey. And in
The
this
inciting
case,
incident, yeah.
well, the inciting incident
Well, no.
is
Yeah,
is not that. The inciting incident is him being captured, I would say.
Yeah.
If you define the arc as the moment he says, "Okay, I'm going to do this journey," it's the moment he starts being Iron Man.
I think that's the halfway
Right.
point of this one.
No,
Well,
no,
I
not
was-
when he actually puts the suit on. When he actually designs
Oh,
this way
that?
out
You
of
think
the
it's the
cave.
Act 1 break?
Yes,
Yeah, I guess.
yes, because he's
So-
starting to do something
Oh, I see.
against
in the,
the
cave
war.
when he puts on the tubby Iron Man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
Yes.
But we're not there yet.
no,
no, not even close. That's a
It's
good
like-
whole montage away.
it's like Act 2 is all about him building the suit and getting shit and being shitty at it, and then slowly getting better and better.
Yeah, that's the
and
fun in games.
Obsidian Slate being pissed at him for not
Yeah.
wanting to do warheads anymore.
Tony, when
Okay.
are you going to start making some money?
Yeah, between
But before
betwixt
that-
cigars. Yeah,
So he bought the painting.
That's
he
what,
bought the
that's
painting.
what Obsidian Stank sounds like.
he bought the painting. Went and found a different journalist to celebrate with. That happened
He
off
fucks
screen.
another journalist?
Off screen. You can assume.
Okay.
It. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just filling in the
Somewhere.
details.
Probably
Yeah.
in each room as he goes upstairs.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's got breaking news rooms all over the place.
Yeah.
That's his deal. Yeah. Okay. And then I think he was supposed to. He was like late to meet.
He's late to meet Terrence
Before
Howard, roadie.
Terrence
for,
Howard.
Holy shit. Right. You have
He's going to
the
meet
idea
him for
that-
his military thing, and Tony makes him gamble with him in the casino the night before.
Okay.
That's right. That's when we learned that they're friends because we didn't know he was involved in the first sequence at all. I don't think he wasn't in
Right.
the first sequence.
And he
No.
like Terrence Howard's like Tony and he's like I'm
No, he
Tony
is.
Stark.
He is at the
Let's
award
gamble.
ceremony. They introduce him as somebody who's like the liaison for Stark Industries'
Ah,
military
yes.
contract.
Got
That's
it.
right. I
But
remember
this
that.
is where we learn that they're actually personal friends.
Right. Because he calls him Barents. What up, Barents? You know what I mean? Like gives him a little sly hug.
Calls him Barents?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
it's a nickname for him.
Yeah, you know.
Barents Howard.
Ask
And
him
they
to blow
fly,
on his
right?
dice.
They do
Yeah,
a
then we get the next
fly with
morning.
strippers.
Tony's late again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Tony
then
being
they
late
get on the
is-
flight, and then they have strippers and champagne.
Tony being
So-
late is basically everyone else's inciting incident in their movies. Like all their various movies are
Right.
incited by Tony
What
starts
do we
late
do about
again.
Tony?
Yeah, he's late again because he's late so many times in this movie.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, they have a bunch of stripper journalists.
He's a real inconsiderate dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have dancers who are also flight attendants.
Yeah, his flight
which-
staff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I don't know, this all seems a little corrupt, if I'm being honest.
little?
I
With
was
just a little.
With the army guy there and the liaison. And
Just a little.
yeah,
huh?
it feels like there's a lot of lawsuits coming out of this. Yeah.
I was
Just a little
stunned upon remembering this movie that it went over as well as it did. Like that this character is as beloved in some ways. Because man, what an unlikable origin story.
I mean, yeah, that's the idea, right?
I mean,
He's gonna
it is
have a
the
change of heart.
idea, but it's one of those things where like, yeah, that's the idea, but I still don't like it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know. At least that's how
yeah.
I feel now about it, thinking about it.
So then don't we get like a quick montage of like land, bomb, pew pew. He's in the cave.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're in the cave.
Sure. That's how I agree.
Okay. Oh no, there's the fun V. He takes the fun V.
Right. They get into an argument after
Yeah.
the demonstration. And he's supposed to go with Terrence Howard and his convoy, but he goes in the Fun V, and that's the convoy that gets blown up. So I guess it wasn't the Fun V.
Why aren't those convoys close together?
I don't
That's
know.
an interesting question too, because we find out later in this movie that this capture was arranged by Obsidian Slate. And
Spoilers.
yeah, that's right. Spoilers. So like,
Orbs Bedazzle stained.
You have to wonder if pre-Don Cheadle and Obsidian Slate collaborated on this, right? I know that's not what the narrative suggests in other movies, but it's a weird coincidence when you think about it.
How did he know that it was going to be the fun V? Because it
Right.
seems like so their idea
He knows
here.
where Tony is.
Because he's got a little tracker on
He's
it?
got a little tracker on his phone. Like, he knows exactly where Tony is. So he just sent the bad guys. Tony's right there.
Okay, that's a good solution.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
believe
they're
he says as much later, but yeah.
I'm still not sure why they're like, let's take two different like Humvees that go in wildly different areas.
Yeah, that's strange.
for
Also,
this test.
A shell game?
And-
I don't know. For this exact thing.
But they're going to show a missile explode, and it's like, aren't you all going to the same place?
Right. Are we going to the same Chili's? Are we going to two different Chili's?
Yeah. Like, why are we splitting up?
they just disagreed on what the most trafficked route was. Like, listen, I don't want to go through this empty desert.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
the long way.
for the sake of this story,
That's
and,
right,
you know,
yeah,
fleshing
yeah.
it out, they're going to
Tony
different Chili's.
won't be told differently because he's not a very considerate man.
No.
Incidentally, I bet all the 10 Rings guys get constant updates about Tony Stark's whereabouts from their ring. Like, that's
Yeah.
what their ring tells them is, here's where
They-
Tony is.
they
you
beat
know?
it-
Oh, yeah. It's like an apple
They
ring.
yeah.
pulse when he's
Yeah, yeah.
close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so he's in the cave. They make a video that they make a video where it seems like it's like we have a hostage, just like we're making this video for the world. But I know we learned the twist is they're making this just for Stank.
Yeah,
for like just a we have Tony Stark. We want more money from you for the thing we arranged, right?
Yeah.
They're like making a hostage video just like it's just funny because I'm like, why don't you just call them? Like, it's weird to like make a video.
I think
for
Oblong
this.
Stork likes the theatrics of it, honestly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do.
He's
And
the
so then
bad
Tony-
guy, Dave. Duh.
It's just weird because they call each other in other scenes. They're just calling each other like, here's our evil plan.
Is this
But
like a
they
proof
want
of
to
life
misdirect.
thing?
Yeah, they want to misdirect, right? Where they
I know
make
where
it
the
look
movie
like they're
needs it.
making a video, hostage video for like the world to see. But then we learn it's what he's saying is like, Stank, we have Tony Stark. What was the deal? He's like, you didn't tell us it was going to be him,
The
or
price
like
will now be a lot more millions, they say.
Right.
Many more millions
It's
and
like,
at
just
least
email
5
me.
more rings.
yeah, just
It's
email me,
5
man.
more rings, man.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So Tony's in a cave. He's in a
I mean,
prison
I
cave.
would say this, Dave. I guess he's tired of calling him on the phone,
Maybe,
and
yeah.
he's kidnapping whoever Stark Industries sent out to the desert, and he's like, holy shits,
Wait, so he didn't...
He didn't know it was Tony Stark is the
he didn't
question
know
mark
he
of
did
this.
it didn't know he's being directed by Oblong Bordello
Yeah.
Stearns.
right.
Yep.
I suppose because he
Sterling Cooper.
doesn't know, like the Ten Rings guy is also being manipulated and he doesn't realize it.
So I mean, I would be curious to hear what Uba Stank's call to them and what he promised the 10 rings was.
Yeah, I want to know what his plan
Well,
is.
he's selling them missiles under the table, is what
that
Tony
part makes
discovers
sense.
later.
It's more you kind of wonder what was the agreement, like not the terms of it, but what did they think the 10 rings think they were doing?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like just capturing any old
Kidnapping
army guys.
a Stark Industries person.
I'm
Okay.
not sure what Hillary Swank's plan is too, with the hiring the 10 rings to
Hillary Swank.
Jeff Bridges.
Oh.
They
You got to start with O, or we won't get the joke. You got to call her O Hillary Stank, and I would know exactly what you meant.
Hillary
Old
Swank.
Bedilleries.
I just don't like. I'm
Orbs.
now I'm like, okay, he's selling to them. He wants Tony dead, right?
Yes.
presumably.
He was hoping Tony would be killed.
Right. You should just shoot him, right?
Well, you should
just
use
shoot-
that the sound paralyzer blaster thing.
Oh, he
that
does.
He has. I
Yeah.
know, right? But it's like, let's dispense with the pleasantries here and get right to that. If
I
I was,
feel
Well, I
like-
think it was part of, because they're doing this whole fanfare about the energy thing. I think it was part of he wanted Tony to get smoked by some terrorists so he can be like, well, in Tony's memory, we got to keep making missiles.
Oh, okay.
he wants a narrative.
Yeah, because there's so
smart.
many ways.
Evil.
There's
Smart.
so many ways to kill him. Like
This is a
Pretty cool
autoerotic
one, though. This was a pretty
asphyxiation.
cool one.
Yeah, there's just so many accidental deaths he could have made, like ketamine overdoses.
Yeah.
like
Right.
there's
Yeah.
a lot.
There are
They-
more
they-
rich guy deaths.
They
Yeah,
ran all
is what
those
you're implying?
scenarios, and it didn't really help Stark Industries stock. I think this was
Right.
the only one where they came out on top, both in we get to still sell missiles, and also we're still making lots of money.
He ran it by Hez Jarvis, that's named
Yeah.
Barvis.
And he's like, Barvis.
Garvis.
This is the best, this is the best
Garvis.
version, isn't it? And he's like, you got it, Orville Stedenbacher. You're right, sir.
God, I wish we met Hez Barvis.
Yeah, me too.
What would the voice of Barvis or Garvis be?
Garvis.
It'd be Garfield. You know what I mean?
I think Gilbert
exactly
Gottfried.
Garfield's voice. Like, ask me when it's not a Monday. You know what I mean? That's what he would say.
Which Garfield, though? Chris Pratt? Bill Murray?
No, absolutely not. The Bill
Garfield
Murray
and
one
Friends?
and or the animated Friends one, like Garfield
Yeah.
and Friends one. Who you can't tell me isn't Bill Murray. I don't give a shit who you say it was. It's Bill Murray.
Well, the
It's always
voice of
been
that
Bill
Garfield did the
Played
voice of
Peter
Bill
Venkman in
of
the Real Ghostbusters, yeah.
yeah. So he was a stand-in regularly for Bill Murray voice.
Murray. Yeah.
All right, we're in the cave. They
Yeah.
want money. He meets Glasses. What is it, Jim Glasses?
Jim Glasses.
And
Yeah.
he's like, we met before at a conference, and
Nilsson?
you were
Nils?
a dick.
I can't remember.
Niels Glasses.
Niels Glassman.
Niels Glasses.
Niels
that was his
Glassman.
name.
Needles.
Yeah, Needles.
Niels Glassman.
You
Needles.
chicken, Tony? You can't make an arc reactor? Unless you got
Alright.
power.
Unless
I
you
do
got
think we should-
power.
I do think we should stipulate whatever name we come to, we got to stick with it
gotta
so
stick
it's not
with it,
confusing. So
I think
Needles
Needles.
Glassman
Needles
is exactly what he was always named. I agree
Yeah.
with it.
Needles Glassman, yeah.
Needles
Yeah,
Glassman.
everybody go back and write down. Everybody's taking notes, right?
Yeah,
write
Needles
down
Glassman.
Needles Glassman.
Yeah. Great.
Okay.
Needles
So
Glassman,
Tony meets
who-
Needles Glassman, who is a scientist.
But my impression when they first met was that he was working for them, and then you kind of figure out, oh no, he's also imprisoned by them.
Yeah, prison
Is that,
employee.
yeah. Okay. So right. So
Yeah.
he's being coerced into.
It's an Amazon sitch, right? He's pissing
Yeah.
in bottles. He's like, yeah.
Yeah. But they can't have him kill Tony because Tony has to make them a Jericho.
They want
Yeah.
him
Make
to make
us a
him a
Jericho.
Jericho.
Yeah.
Which I think what you actually want is go like write down the blueprints
Yes,
for it.
could you write the
like,
blueprints
don't
for it?
make it
Right.
like you make that in a factory. Like it should be. It's pretty reasonable to be like, I can't literally make you this missile. Like
Right.
it's like a
Yeah,
$1
this is,
billion
like,
missile.
Really hard to do.
There are
Right,
parts
like-
I can't make here. I need minerals from fucking Uzbekistan, man.
Right.
You know
it's
what I
like
mean?
just,
Like-
just
They might be in Uzbekistan.
That's right.
We don't
Yeah.
know
My bad,
where they
that's right.
take him.
Correct.
yeah, but yeah, they should be like, just give us the design But no.
we'll steal a Jericho, and then so
or
therefore we
give us
will
your clearance
get a fish.
access. Or like, yeah.
Right. They should be treating this guy like Confucius, which is to say, steal a missile and then teach us to missile.
Right.
That's what they should be doing right now.
Yeah.
Instead, they're doing the worst of them all, which is make your own missile.
Didn't they get some of the gear though? Some of the
I
start
thought they
gear?
did. That's why it's
I
like,
think
what
they
are they
did.
having him do here?
Right. I believe they do have some of the gear, and they want him to.
That's how Tony also learns they're using his weapons.
Right. Which is a big crisis for him because he
Yes,
didn't
He's
have
like,
to-
only Americans, damn it.
Yeah.
Only we get to blow things up. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, wait a minute, people are hurting each other with these missiles? I cause hurt?
Yeah.
Damn.
Wait,
I
I'm
thought they grew
people.
trees.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right.
Sure.
So he and Needles
Glassman.
they pretend to make the missile, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Meanwhile, all journalists ever, despite going for months unhumped, are deeply uncurious about Tony Stark's whereabouts.
I do recall it being sort of unclear how long he's been there.
It's got to be weeks.
He has to be. He builds a
Has
whole
to be
Iron Man.
weeks.
Yeah.
Has to be. He built a whole arc reactor. One presumes
Right,
that's
he
not a thing you
builds
snap
that
together.
first.
Right. I've put together IKEA furniture. That takes a week. So don't
Right.
give me this like, oh, he's doing it in a day. Absolutely not.
Yeah, he
builds
solved
an
the world's
arc
energy
reactor.
crisis first, and then he
Yes.
built an Iron Man.
Yes.
In a
Excuse me.
cave with
In a-
a box of
A
scrap.
box of scrap!
I
Yeah.
kind of love the idea that he's like, he does something that's like potentially good, right? Here, I'm going to build a new energy source, but he's got to make a weapon out of it. He's like,
Yeah.
listen, I still got to weaponize it.
Hey,
I am Tony Stark.
It's not a
I can't.
sword, Adam. It's a shield.
So
He
the
says
idea,
that in Iron Man 2.
Which I've seen and remember.
Yeah.
I
So
remember
he
that.
does. So the idea is the Iron Man suit can't be powered with anything but an arc reactor, not like gasoline or a battery.
Yeah,
and he
I
also
imagine,
needs-
I imagine if any battery would just weep and catch fire the instant you plug it
Yeah.
into Iron Man.
Yeah,
Well,
that's fair. But
that's
I'm
true.
looking at this suit. I guess so. Like, Jesus. Sorry, I'm trying to
It
think
has
of how
to be
the suit-
radioactive.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm trying
oh,
to think
yeah.
of how the suit works. Like, is it pneumatic? Is it like the suit in Aliens? Or is it like a robot?
You mean like
is
the,
it?
the forklift suit in Aliens? Is that what you're
Yeah,
referring to?
because I'm like, how does this suit work? It's this giant plates of steel that
think
he's like
science magic.
walking around with.
The
Is
closest-
he propelling it with his movements?
The closest we have to it, Dave, is the power suit from Fallout. That it is, in order for a power suit to work in Fallout, you got to plug a weird nuclear core into it. I think
Right.
it's the same shit here, right? Where it's
Think
like
of
he
it-
made a little power suit and he put his heart core into it and it
But
runs.
like,
Think
yeah,
of it
say
like
so-
a motorized toy that doesn't have a battery in it.
Yeah.
And then
Okay,
you
I
put the
guess-
battery in, and that's
just-
it, I guess.
I'm I'm just
It's a
like
suit
if Tony,
of armor more
if
than
Tony,
it is anything else.
That's
it's
what
not
I mean.
a robot.
If Tony wants to throw a punch in the
Yeah,
Iron
he throws
Man
a
suit,
punch.
he throws a punch. So how much? I guess my question is like, what needs to be powered? 'Cause
I guess
if
it would
it's
be, like,
if it's
if
a
we're-
suit of armor, then I'm like, well, fuck, you don't even need any power for a suit of armor.
If we're using the Fallout, the power suit analogy, I guess it would be all like the little servos and gears and whatnot that you need to
Yeah.
power to like move
That's
the
what I was
stuff
gonna
in those directions.
Say is like if he throws a punch, it's not his strength; it's the suit's
He's
strength,
directing
right?
it, but yes,
So
yeah.
this-
When Iron Man's
so that-
suit loses its power, he can't move.
So he has to build like a series of sensors that are sensing every move his muscles are making.
Oh, yeah.
And the suit has to perfectly mimic it in real time.
It's more complicated than motion capture. Absolutely. He's painting
Yeah.
dots on his face, on his arms. He's painting all those dots you need.
He needs
know
to
what-
teach the
what he's doing.
machine, like when it's putting pressure in a certain direction, it needs to lift up. It needs to follow.
It needs to
the-
lift up. So
Yeah.
it's like a series
and
of
not
sensors.
just,
Yeah.
break his arm.
I'm still not sure what requires the power, like a city-wide amount of power for that.
I think it's
Like,
more that he could do that, so he did.
And it's easier, like it doesn't lose.
Right.
I think it's more like batteries lose power. Gasoline runs
also,
out.
He was probably fucking mad about batteries because he had one strapped to his chest for a couple of weeks. He's like
Right.
lugging around a car battery, keeping himself
Right.
alive. So he's probably like, you know what? I'm sick of this shit.
It's a
I have to
car
build a
power-
battery
Alright.
anyway.
It's an
you know?
electromagnet, right? And it's
Yeah.
just because they don't have an
Yeah.
actual magnet. So when he goes home, he could just get a real magnet and just go, bam, magnet, we're good. But he wants to power his Iron Man suit, right? It's like a grift.
It thrills me that you're demanding I remember and explain to you how magnetism works in the Iron Man suit. It absolutely thrills me.
Well, it never occurred to me that they're like, we need a magnet. So we're going to use this arc reactor to power an electromagnet. And it's like, or a magnet.
Get a magnet.
Yeah, just get a magnet, right?
You see that stone that sticks to the other one? That's a magnet.
That requires no power.
Yeah.
But
Doesn't solve the world's energy crisis, though, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he builds the suit,
Cool
right?
electromagnets do. Yes, he builds the suit instead of a missile because fuck them.
Right. And then he like stalls them, right? Like they're watching.
yeah.
He's like, in order to build this missile, I need to do it like not on security cameras with no supervision at all times. And me and Needles are going to do it together while Needles tells me about how like my missiles and my company is bad.
Yeah.
And they're like, we agree to that. And they're like watching and they're like, that really looks like a suit, but he says
It
it's
really
a
doesn't
missile.
look like a missile.
Yeah.
It looks like he's making some sort of war suit.
I got another question for you. What do you suppose Needles and Tony Stark talked about when they weren't talking about how bad his company was?
We
All
see
his
them talk
sexual
about little
conquests.
things. Like he says he met him at another like CES expo that Tony was so drunk he doesn't recall even speaking to him at.
Needles keeps talking about his family. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to my wife and kids
Yep.
that are totally alive.
He's saying it in that way that we know they're fine. They're back home and
Yeah.
they're safe. They're just waiting for him.
Yeah. Tony Stark, of course, remains interested in that every time it gets brought up, which is definitely more than one time.
And so they build a suit. What does Needles do for is he like Renfielding the suit? Is he like going around like, yes,
I think it's just he's helping him. I mean, I think it's just one of those things that like, I mean, it's already magical science, but I think we're just getting a little bit of concession here. But like, he needs another genius to help him make this.
I think that Tony just has him role play as Jarvis. Just like, now tell me exactly what Jarvis would tell me.
He starts calling him Jarvis. Your name is Jarvis Glassman now.
Yeah.
Now, Needles. I mean,
Sir,
Jarvis.
Needles. You shut up, Jarvis. You shut the fuck up.
What's your name, Jarvis?
It's Jarvis. That's right.
So-
That's fucking right, it is.
We get the breakout scene, and what does that look like?
He sets a lot of dudes on fire.
He
has some
mostly he
rockets.
just flamethrow arms. Mostly that,
It's pretty chill.
you know. Yeah, it's
Okay.
pretty good.
So he walks down, he lights everybody on fire. Needles is like behind him.
Needles gets squished by fate, as I recall, and
I thought
dies.
Needles
He is
saves
shot.
him or something.
Yeah, he is
doesn't
shot.
Doesn't Needles go like, I'll buy you some time?
Yes.
And he
He
shoots
picks up a
at the
machine
bad
gun.
guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he's like, I'm going to go be with my family. And Tony's like, I'm starting to think his family's
I
not
think his
alive,
family
but
might
whatever.
be dead.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's right. I think he's killed in the explosion, right? And he has
he
a bunch
dies.
of rubble on him. And
Yeah. And
that's
Tony,
when he's like-
Tony is like, I'm going to get you out of here. He's like, no, my family is dead. I can't believe you couldn't figure that out.
Yeah.
Anyway, be a good person, Tony. I think he says, don't waste this.
Right.
Yeah.
For
He
the
says-
rest of the series, right? Like all the way into Endgame, Tony's always going for needles. Like
Right.
that's what he does.
Yeah.
He
That's what he was trying to say as he was dying. And for
Yeah.
Needles. Why
Needles.
Needles?
I finally
Needles pulls a
avenged
real-
you.
Needles pulls a real Tom Hanks at the end of Saving Private Ryan. He just looks at him and says, "Earn this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Earn this."
I love the idea of Tony dying, going to the afterlife, meeting Needles, and Needles is like, well, that got real weird, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like I was
Yeah.
like, I thought it was just like, some terrorists and stuff, but like, were you fighting a fucking alien?
Aliens showed up, huh?
Yeah.
Man.
I got
He
the world got
snapped his
real
fingers
weird.
and half the universe disappeared, huh?
Yeah, they were here. They were here in this
Yeah,
with me
a couple
for-
people here joined up. Didn't
Yeah.
know I could do that. I was like, "No, I'm good. I already helped."
All right, so he fights his way out, and then he blow himself. He
Rockets himself, yeah.
He rockets, yeah.
And he lands
Yeah.
in the middle of the desert, and then they just sort of yada
he
yada to
dies.
him back in the United States.
Right.
Don't know how.
Not before he blows up all his weapons. Like that seems like a key character moment. Is like he has a
Oh,
bunch of weapons
yeah.
in that outpost.
Oh
and
yes,
just,
he completely destroys all of the Stark
he
weapons.
weighs in a way that was like, are you sure they're not going to blow up? Like when you
Yeah.
torch them all, are you sure they're not going to?
Yeah, don't
I
you want
guess you would know.
to take a step back? I've played
Yeah.
enough video games to know what happens here.
Yeah, those are all red barrels, bro. You don't want to be that
Yeah,
close.
you
to us.
don't want to be close to the red barrels, dude.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah. Anyway,
He launches himself. He lands in the. I remember because Rhodes shows up, and he's like, "Next time, I'll take the fun V
That's
or
right.
something like
That's
that."
right.
And
Yeah.
then he
and we all laughed
then-
for a very long time.
Yeah, they find him somehow. It doesn't really. It's probably like that area of the desert. I'm looking on my binoculars. Seems to be exploding. Let's go look over there.
Oh yeah.
And they just. I like to imagine Rhodes like watching from the distance and seeing like the fucking Rocketeer just like explode
There
in the
it is.
sky and just be like, well, I don't know what's going on over there, but we should probably check it out.
I like the idea that
Take
in
a look
addition,
at that.
in addition to all the science magic Tony put into the Iron Man thing, he also rebooted his own signal. You know what I mean? Like, so like whatever the tracker thing is that they're using to know where he is
Okay.
at all times, Orion Slank also knows where he is the minute he puts on the Iron Man suit.
Right.
Right? So that's
I
how they
figured
know.
Slank knows where he is for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so they catch him. They bring him back on a plane. There's a press conference, right? He gets
Mm-hmm.
a burger.
Yeah.
He gets a burger, definitely.
He puts on like a rock shirt.
Yeah.
He's like, I need my rock shirt. And then he like raps with them.
Yeah, we meet his friend Happy Hulkamania,
Oh yeah,
played by
Swingers is in
John
this.
Favreau. Yeah, by Swingers.
yeah. And then he's like, let's rap together, media.
Yeah,
on
let's
that.
sit down. He sits down on the steps to rap
Yeah.
with them, to talk real with them.
Is his actual name Happy Hulkamania? Can we stipulate to
Yeah,
that?
Happy
Okay.
Hulkamania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy Hulkamania. He also directed this. Am I wrong?
He did.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of a fun.
Oh, he directed this one.
I think Iron Man is Happy Hulkamania's baby.
It
We should
is.
definitely, for the sake of history, we should always note who directed it.
Yeah,
So this
is
was
Happy
directed
Hulkamania.
by Happy Hulkamania.
Yeah. Great.
And then he's like, I don't like war now.
It sucks. It sucks. He's
yeah,
like,
he's
I
like,
saw,
you know what? I've been doing it all wrong. I'm going to do the anti-bad. You know, and they were like, oh, and
Right. We're still not in Act 2.
yeah. Orwellian Stink was like, I don't
feel
dig
like
that,
that's,
bro. That's a bad move.
I feel like that's really bad for our stock.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want my weapons manufacturing company to make weapons. And it's like, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Tony, we're a weapons
What-
manufacturer that doesn't make
Yeah.
any weapons.
And that's when they walk to the giant arc conductor or whatever that they've built that isn't somehow shrinkable. That was the real problem with this power source. is that
Right.
It wasn't shrinkable. They had a giant magnet that the kind that Insane Clown Posse is just coming over every day, right?
And
I
this
mean,
is where
these
OP
are the magnets they were speaking about. These are
Yes.
celestial magic magnets.
yes.
Right.
So
But this is where Opie is like, show me your chest. I want to see your chest.
Mm-hmm.
Your chest magnet, because I heard about it from someone.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, that's so cool. And then Tony is like, I don't want to make this. Like, I forget, there's a conflict
Yeah.
here where he's like, I don't, like, this is mine.
it's a real LBJ moment too, by
He
the
wants-
way, right?
Yeah.
like when Orwellian Stone's like, let me see your scars, bro. You want to like
Yeah.
let me show you a couple I got, right? They're like
Yeah.
comparing these weird body parts. Like maybe I don't want to show it to you, man. You know, I don't need to.
When it's when Obslaw Stone asks him to take a look at it, he wants his guys. He says like, let our guys reverse engineer that. Let us take a look at that. And Tony's like, no, this is mine. That's what the conflict is.
Right.
Mm.
I don't know why.
Old Badiah is like, give me something, like, because okay, fine, we're not making weapons anymore. Let me show our shareholders what we are going to make. Like, let me show them something. And Tony's like, no,
renewable
no.
energy.
So,
And if
like,
I'm
That
not
seems
mistaken,
like a good idea.
At this
if I'm not mistaken, in later movies they do just make it, right? Like it doesn't he end up making money on this energy source
Well,
at
that's
some
the thing.
point?
You said he powers New York. I remember he just powers the tower, if I recall. He I don't
Oh,
remember.
I thought it
but
was the tower. I thought it was the whole town, but maybe
I'm
it is
pretty
just the
sure
tower.
it's just the tower. Like the
What a
thing is,
prick.
like really want Endgame when he's dying. Someone go like, so Tony, that renewable energy stuff. Are we ever going to get that? Because I don't think it ever really we never really show that. Like, I don't know. I just remember one of the Captain Americas later. They go to a Mac store and the computers are all just regular laptops, and I'm like, oh, so we just still have the shitty computers? Like we don't have the Jarvis shit? You're just okay. So
we
none
never
of this
get
stuff,
the Jarvis shit.
Yeah, none of this stuff like got to people, the regular people. He just like kept it all. Like, no, my hologram computers. It's like, oh, okay.
Only I get
So
to make
only they
hologram
get
mommy
this
and
stuff.
daddy.
Yeah. Anyway, so like, all right, so we're meeting the big arc reactor. Obadiah's like, let me get a piece of that.
Yeah.
He's like, no, it's mine. Is Tony like, I'll do something with this, or is he just like, no to everything?
He says flat out no to the arc reactor in his chest. He says he's working on something else that he'll show him later, but he refuses to let him see the little arc reactor in his chest. And at this point, before we learn later that old Badiah has already tried to assassinate him and has been trying to kill him already to push him out and is already selling weapons under the table, like, you can kind of understand why old Badiah wants to kill him later. Like, you sort of understand why it goes bad, because it's like you're blowing up the whole business. He's trying to like do something and you're not giving him anything. I'd probably build my own suit and try to kill you too.
Right, because what Tony is working on, what he's like, no, I got something else, is just a personal suit,
for himself. Yeah,
he's not giving it. He's not like, this is for soldiers.
No,
like basically, Tony just tanks his company. He's like, I don't like what we do, and Obadiah's like, okay, so what should we do instead? And he's like, what we should do instead is make me a superhero, and that's the business.
Right.
It's like, and then we make money how? And it's like, no, we don't. I have money. I have a golden parachute. I'm going to tank this, get,
it's extremely,
thousands of employees laid off.
It's extremely Elon Musk.
Yeah. I'm about to doge Stark's enterprise.
What he's doing is actually flagrantly illegal.
Yeah. So Obadiah is like, you
could just turn your business into your bank account.
And don't get me wrong, like what Stark was doing is bad. I get that, like him getting that. Yeah. But it's just like, you sort of have to.
It's like part of realizing that what you were doing is bad is realizing that this billion-dollar enterprise you've entrenched yourself in with all of these other people who are doing bad things, you may have to let go of it.
Right.
Maybe you don't get to keep it.
You can't string them along.
Right. Perhaps you don't get to keep the billions you made on weapons.
Right.
But so no, Tony, he has to be correct, and also he has to be morally correct and also get to keep all this money.
So he goes in his basement, right, and he listens to fucking AC/DC or whatever. Mm-hmm.
That's what powers the suit.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Lots of Hell's Bells down there. Just Hell's Bells during the entire Forge sequence.
Right. Pepper's there, and Pepper's like, you changed. Right?
Yeah, I think that's what she says.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is when we start to get the sense that their relationship is not purely employee-employer.
She wears a dress. They go dancing, right, at one point?
Yeah.
So, but order of operation. Okay, so first thing, he goes in his basement, and we start getting, I'm going to build an Iron Man suit, right?
He tells Jarvis is like, what the fuck? And then he gets cool about it. Then he tells the other arms who can't talk but are equally horrified. And they're like, all right.
Right.
He threatens them.
Get on board, nerds.
Yeah, he's like, you're doing it, or I'm donating you to a community college.
Arms.
And the arms are like, all right.
Arms.
Fine. Yeah.
Yeah, his pet arms who are sentient. His sentient arms.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. They're not an extension of Jarvis, which I found weird.
No, they're their own. They're just dogs.
Autonomous entities. Yeah,
I suspect they are an extension of Jarvis. Jarvis is like, he likes it when I pretend. Like, it's like using a puppet to feed a baby bird.
Yeah,
like it's just like Jarvis is like, I'm just pretending that the arms are different, but I don't have the heart to tell him because he likes that.
Him. Yeah, he likes that they're all little dogs.
They're all sort of like the characters from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Like, they're all clearly Mr. Rogers, but we're supposed to pretend like they're not him doing all the voices.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the land of make believe.
Yeah, exactly.
So he makes the suit. We get like a sequence of him.
It takes like 20 minutes.
Yeah, he sees like a fire truck, right? And he's like, let's make it red.
No, hot fire engine red,
He's-
but it's a hot rod.
It's his Camaro
hot
or
rod.
whatever. He's got
Yeah.
Right, he's a car guy.
yeah.
He is. Did you see his goatee? Of course, he's a car guy.
Yeah. It's
he falls through. He falls through his piano. He breaks
does
a
a
car or
test.
two. Yeah.
yeah.
So the first test is just flying in the like stationary in his garage,
Yeah.
right?
Well, he trying to, and it goes bad,
Right.
and would break literally anybody else's body into pieces, but he had his bones reinforced by Needles Glassman.
Yeah, because he's rich.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
And then we finally get he shoots into the sky, right? He tests. He's like, let's do sky test.
let's sky test it.
And he goes way up. He goes wicked high,
Yeah. He goes super sick high, man.
and it freezes him.
Yeah, because of the atmosphere.
And he has to-
It gets cold up there.
He has to figure out how to solve the icing problem.
Yeah.
But how does he survive when he falls? He falls.
He
and then-
regains control just in time and zooms
Got it.
past the Santa Monica Pier
Got it.
whilst triumphant music plays.
a pretty inspirational place to fall to your death too. Like if you're
Yeah,
gonna
I think
do
this
it,
is. Oh yeah, crash right through
There's
the
an
pier. Try to
amazing-
take his. Just open your arm so you can try to
Right.
take his like a spear. So you take out as
Yeah.
many people as you can.
that's right.
Hopefully the
like
whole
you're
Ferris
Roman
wheel.
Reigns, and you're just charging the entire not bloodline.
fired out of a
There's an
cannon.
amazing like alternate reality, right, where
Yeah.
the news is just like a giant metal man killed many people on the pier.
Yeah.
We cracked it open, and it was billionaire Tony Stark. Everybody said, "Yeah, that makes sense."
Right.
It was a human Jello that used to be
Yeah.
Tony Stark.
And now there's no more Ferris wheel on the pier. Are you happy? And nobody was happy.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Nobody was
Nobody's
happy.
about it. Mm-mm.
Okay, so he gets the first flight test, then he paints it. I think he paints it then.
Yeah,
Right?
This
He's
is
like,
after
"I'm done with it."
he breaks his piano here, I think. Or no, wait, this is his car.
Yeah,
This is, he breaks his car, right? Old
Yeah, yeah.
Daniel is playing his piano
The robot
later.
keeps blowing him. It keeps doing the
Right, yeah,
like,
it keeps hitting him with the fire extinguisher. That's
Yeah.
right. Then he gets up to go to like a party and tells Jarvis to make him a new one and paint it fire engine red. So he's just 3D printing himself a titanium alloy Iron Man suit at home. I can't
right.
imagine the power grid.
Oh yeah.
I think he just like plugs it all into his
Just be a
heart.
fucking blackout.
Can you?
You know? Well, yeah, because they're trying to do the thing where they're like, well, he can't like like it's the Batman problem, right? Where
Yeah,
you
yeah.
look at the Batcave and you're like, well, there's construction workers here, right?
Yeah, right.
So he has to we have to magically create a world where like 3 robot arms
Can-
and a robot and an AI can just make this thing in his
In
basement.
his house in Malibu.
Yeah, out of, as you said, titanium.
Titanium alloy. It's the most sophisticated piece of technology we've ever seen made with
Yeah.
some expensive metals.
It's. I mean,
There's
it's
some
not even
fire-
just the making it.
Cost a lot of energy to work with.
It's the assembly line to put it on. You know what I mean? Like he's got a whole like grid and like sophisticated apparatus to put himself in the suit that I would say is at least as expensive as the suit. Like the
Yes.
drilling and the
Oh yeah,
I feel like
he
this
has to
is
climb
what
into this
Tony's...
Vitruvian man ring. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. This is his arc, right? Yeah, who made the ring? Who made any of this? Who made the infrastructure to make it like rise out? Like all that is getting built.
I guess Jarvis did. So yeah, he's
Right.
just his power bill must be millions of dollars.
It's all these little nanobot, like, I don't know, he invents nanobots later.
I mean, this
I
is-
feel like Tony's arc, his superpower is his realization to magically build anything
Yeah.
quietly.
Yeah.
Because like he learns that in the cave where like I feel like at the start of this he's like $1 billion missiles, we make them in a factory, and then they're like, make one in this cave, and he's like, that's impossible. Oh, actually, no, this is actually really
I
easy.
actually
to
work
get done.
better in caves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can actually do this really easily
Oh, it's
for some
impossible.
reason.
Actually, it isn't because I finally thought about how to do it.
Yeah,
Now,
and
oh,
that's
it's
his
not
arc is
easy.
realizing like, oh, I never thought it'd be this easy. Oh, yeah, just give me one basement, my tech basement.
All I need is
I'll
one
do
basement.
this shit all day.
My science basement. Mm-hmm. I use the precursor
it.
to like Chat GPT because every time he turns on his 3D printer, a body of water evaporates.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, he is a rainforest is raised
yeah,
every
yeah,
single
yeah.
time.
A tech bro melting bodies of water.
Yeah. So okay, so he goes to the party. That's when he dances with Pepper Potts.
Yeah.
and she's like embarrassed because she's like, "You're my fuck boss now." I don't like that.
She has mixed feelings about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have the best history in the relationship department.
Right.
We learned earlier, man.
Yeah, she's
He
like,
rolls
I don't
like
want
a
you to hit it
slinky
and quit
from
it.
journalist to journalist.
Right. And we say
Yeah,
when we
she's
say
not a
we
journalist,
learned about
but-
it, the entire world hears about it every time. That's the
Yeah.
entire point of his relationships. So everyone hears about
And
it.
she's like, now I'm dancing with you in like this.
That's
in
right.
this
Yeah.
romantic setting,
Yeah.
and it looks bad.
Right.
And
yeah. She says this makes me look bad in a professional setting.
Yeah, because she's like, we've been waiting for you to die of a ketamine overdose just any day.
We
now."
have
And
so
like-
many different obituaries written for you.
right, and it's
That's
like
half of
I
what
would have
Jarvis's
to.
job is writing ovaries for you.
Half of his computing power is trying to keep up with all the possible ways he might kill himself.
Predictive obits
Right.
is a huge part
Yeah.
of his CP, like computer usage. Anyway,
We're draining lakes just for that.
Yeah, just
and
try
like,
and guess what kind of vehicle he's going to crash into a preschool.
yeah, and it's like, so yeah, she's gonna need a new job at some point.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
this
yeah.
doesn't look good for her career.
yeah.
And he says something. He like reassures her
He's
it's
like,
fine,
"Man, that
or
sucks."
like,
But I hear you.
yeah, we get like a conflict here. Probably.
Yeah, more. He's non-committal about it.
Okay.
Right? He's like, I understand. Like some version of, I understand what you're saying, and I'll think about that. Like it's basically how that conflict resolves.
I
Is
have
this
received that feedback, and I will internalize it.
And then, to best of my knowledge, Jeff Bridges bursts in an Iron Man suit. But I feel like there's
no,
something
there's
between
some
those
time.
two moments.
There's some time.
I think this is
Okay.
the point where we see that the Ten Rings version of Snake is not dead yet, right? He's just been eye patched, and they've picked up some of the Iron Man scraps. They're like, wait a minute, it was a suit, right?
He's like, I want suit
Yeah.
also.
And they're like, everyone
or
get
like,
your rings.
is this the reveal that Opie is?
We reveal that old Badiah. He reveals to Tony at this party that somebody he gets ambushed by the same journalist from earlier, who's like this new persona of yours about wanting peace and not wanting to make any more weapons is crap because you're still selling Stark weapons under the table to organizations around the world. He's, what the hell are you talking about? And she shows him all these photographs, and then he confronts Obsidian Badaniels, and he says, yeah, Tony, grow up. We've been dealing under the table for years.
Right. And they have
then,
they have a verbal falling out at that point.
Yeah, they have a real falling out. And then he sends Pepper later to go into Oldby's office to look for evidence, like pay records or anything to find a link to...
Wait, since Pepperidge.
Yeah, he sends Pepperidge
Yeah.
Farms
into
up into Oldby's office
yeah, but
to
like
snoop.
so. The
Oh, no, wait, no, she goes up to Tony's office to get a file. It's not Oldby's office, it's Tony's office.
but it's his office at the plant,
Right,
right?
yes.
At the Stark plant, not in his home where we've only
Correct.
That's the only place we've actually seen him work, by the way, is his home.
Right, yeah, in his basement. This is at Stark, and she finds all these files about linking Oldby to the Ten Rings, and that's where she finds the video that we saw them filming earlier, and she translates it, and it's them saying, Obadiah,
We work together.
you and
yeah.
we are partners in evil, but you betrayed our evil plans, so now we will kidnap your surrogate son, who you are lying to and deceiving, Tony Stark. Yes,
I think right before
Tonathan
that,
Stark.
Tonathan, right
I
before
thought
that,
we get a reveal where we're at their camp,
yes,
and he
right
shows
before
up. Yeah.
that, oops, I
Yes.
did it again. Walks in and sound murders the not yet dead.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah,
Not
because he
yet
calls
dead.
him and he
Ten
calls him
Rings guy.
and says he wants his own. Was like, now instead of rockets, you're going to give us metal suits, or else I'm going to spill the beans. And said you told us to kidnap Tony Stark.
Right, and so
And he
he
just
murders
jets on
everyone.
over there.
and he murders
And
everyone.
it's
It's a
like-
massacre.
I assume he also murders his own pilot, right?
Yeah.
like because
Everyone
he's
does.
just, he's just like
he had his own guys do it.
okay.
Yeah, he's
This
got
is
a
a
little
defense
militia.
contractor, Dave.
Oh right, yeah.
That's right.
Those are
yeah, and he's like-
he flew out there with Blackwater guys.
That's true. And yeah, he does the thing where he like whips out his sound pen and he's like, "You like this? A little something whipped up."
Yeah, and R&D, it's pretty cool.
And he does like a speech. And then how does he kill him?
He says,
He just walks out and he says to his guys, "We're done here," and then they shoot everybody.
yeah.
Oh, well, he could have just done that.
Yeah, but
did.
it's more
Like, did
fun
you need
to
to-
freeze a person
Yeah, I
and then
guess so.
say hello to my little friend, which he did.
That's fair.
Because
And
he
then
wants.
shoot him.
I think doesn't he make? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
No,
That's true. I can. I feel
Yeah.
like he made some comment about technology, like he wanted to rub it in this guy's face or something.
Yeah.
yeah.
'Cause
Take
he's
that.
a dick.
Take this. Take my tech. Take
Yeah.
all my
Yeah,
tech.
he
says-
rubs it against his mouth.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
Puts it in.
He's like, "Taste
He
it."
uses this like ear device that completely paralyzes this dude, and also
yeah.
like inflates his blood so his
Yeah.
veins get all huge. And he's like, "We had to kill this project because they couldn't really find an application for it." And I'm like, "Really? They couldn't?
Because this
couldn't.
one
The
works pretty
military
well.
couldn't find a use for this."
Yeah. Meanwhile, cut to just a bunch of vats of people who've been blood frozen.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like people you
And-
kind of vaguely remember. Like what, you know?
After this movie, no one. It's a weird. This world has a weird blind spot where only Skank is like the one who can tell that this thing's a good weapon. Because he's like, yeah, R&D, nobody wanted this. And then later he does it on Tony, and Tony's like, yeah, that thing was neat. Anyway, I'm never going to use that again. Like, no one circles back to the paralyzing thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, no, that's useless. No reason to...
Are we sure?
develop that.
Well, no, we are sure about that.
So
For sure.
In my memory, he uses a sound thing later on.
he uses it on
Maybe.
Tony.
That seems like it'd be good to use on Thanos, right?
Yeah, I don't know if we see it after
Get that
this
glove
movie.
right off of Thanos.
We don't see it after this movie, maybe. Yeah, no,
That's
I
what
think
I
you're probably
mean.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that like it
Would
just
it work
seems
on
like
Thanos?
something
He just has these tiny little ears. These tiny little
be
ear
worth a
holes.
shot, wouldn't
I
it?
don't think you could
like,
get it close enough to him because he's got such big head. You know what I mean? Like,
I
like,
mean,
is that thing
pretty
even-
close to him.
In fairness, Hulk did not work on Thanos.
I mean, Tony could have used this on Hulk later too.
Mm.
There's so many things. It's just funny that after this movie, it's just like, nah, that thing's crap.
Yeah.
and it's like it was pretty effective.
Maybe he doesn't
All right.
want to use it because of the stain
Yeah, the emotional pain of
of
using
old
it.
Bediah stain.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
We also forgot to mention that at some point there's a news broadcast showing that there are still Jericho weapons out and about, and Tony's like, I'm going to Iron Man those fuckers to death.
Yeah, so he finally gets his first outing as Iron
So
Man,
he-
and he goes to this village and explodes.
Yeah,
it.
he flies there and blows everything to hell, and we do exactly what we should do, which is send every fighter jet in the area we got after him, right?
Right. He there's I remember there's people taking hostages, and he blows them. He does a bunch of
rips
individual little bullets, and they just go pew, and kill them all.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
He drops everybody in.
He kills everybody.
Yeah,
He RoboCop / Iron Justices a guy.
yeah.
It's genuinely the grabbing the guy who kidnapped the mayor in RoboCop
Right.
just through the wall.
And what we've learned
he very
is he's
carelessly comes in to save these people. Is the point I'm making?
oh yeah, and he has an arsenal that's incredible.
Yes.
They are missing this stuff at his company. No one's
100%, yeah.
Or he built it all in his basement. Did he build it all?
He has micro rockets, tracer bullets.
It's the micro rockets I have the hardest time believing out of all these things. You know what I mean?
why
Because
they're dope.
they're incredibly dope, and I believe they exist. I'm just saying it's hard to believe he could make those at his mansion.
I'm also
you know what I mean?
not. Yeah,
He just
I'm not
told
sure
Jarvis
where
to
they-
cook him up while he was
Cook
going
him
out
up,
for
Jarv.
the day.
Yeah,
Jarvis
Whip
is
me up
making
some
bullets.
micro rocks, Jarv.
yeah. Put them shoulder mounted and make sure that they are more accurate than any laser has ever been.
Right, more
You know?
accurate than light.
I would like it to
Yeah.
be able to shoot, to distinguish one human from another at 2 feet away and hit them. I would like. Can we make that happen, please?
Yeah, it's the most advanced facial recognition software in history.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Then he gets in fights with jets,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, because Rhodes is like,
Yeah, Rhodes
trashes
get him,
those.
get him. There's an alien flying. Because at this point, as far as we know, nothing like this ever has happened before in this universe. It should this movie starts in our universe, right?
Yeah.
and stays there, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're still there.
Yeah, stays there, Dave.
So they have jets, and they're like, get them. And they like, it appears to be some sort of flying. It's a Rocketeer. We have a Rocketeer situation.
Can we just camp on
Code
this
R.
moment for 1 second? The moment he publicly debuts Iron Man, nobody reacts to it correctly. Not one person reacts to it correctly. Okay, there's only two appropriate reactions. One is, my God, it's an alien. Okay?
Right.
Number two is, that is the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. That is so dumb. Look how dumb
Look
it
at
is.
that.
Nobody does either thing, you know?
It feels, if I saw a man in this suit rocketing and they're like, we have to get this guy, I'd be like, that's a problem that takes care of itself, if I'm being honest. Like, that's a man that's going to collide into a cliff.
If
and
anybody
die.
was ever about to be on a private sub that implodes, it's that man. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's where that ends.
That was in Tony's future for sure.
No doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely no doubt. Anyway.
But yeah, they're like, so they do
He's
like
gonna take Pepper on a romantic trip down to the Titanic.
Right. It's going to be the saddest version of A Whole New World you've ever seen in your life. He's singing that Aladdin song while they implode.
Oh, my blood's getting huge. Must be Obi's sound device.
all right, so he hides on one of the,
he clings to one of the planes.
right?
Yeah. And Rhodey's calling him. He says, all right, Tony, what are you flying here? Because he assumes it's a drone that Tony's fucking with.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, it's me. I'm in a suit.
Because Tony's been like teasing Rhodes a bit, right? Like, hey, buddy, I got something for you. What do you got? Something. You know what I mean? And like Rhodes kind of picks up on it in this scene, like,
because even Rhodes is giving him shit at first too. That's
he's
right.
mad.
Because he's like, "Are you serious? You're not going to give us weapons anymore? What are you talking about?"
Right.
Yeah.
And so
Like
Tony
Rhodes is not on
calls
board
him.
with him at first.
Tony calls him from the cell in his helmet. Mm-hmm. Tony put a cell phone in his helmet.
Of course he did.
Which that doesn't bother me. I just love that he thought of that. Like, I want to be able to make calls while I'm Iron Man.
Yeah.
So he put that. I want to call my girls and be like, "Yeah, guess where I am, Iron Man."
I wonder if at this point he even needs to tell Jarvis to put phones in it. If Jarvis just puts phones in everything he makes for Tony,
Just give Tony. a
you're
phone.
going to want a phone, sir.
Yeah.
And your fleshlight.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. I think Jarvis can just assume we need a phone in here.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
he puts a phone in a little cocaine capsule,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
a little hiding place.
How does the sequence end?
The
How's he
Jets
get away?
He crashes both jets and then he falls to the ocean. Well, he crashes at least one jet, rips the guy's parachute off, and then he falls into the ocean, and they call it a training exercise.
Rips his parachute
I think
off
he
to, like, kill
saves
him?
one of the guys.
He saves
from
the guy.
death.
Yeah, he has to pull his it's not coming. His ejector seat's not coming loose, so he has to come in and rip the handle off to make it go.
Because he's a hero.
Like, basically,
yeah.
he untop guns him. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like it would have been a Top Gun, and we would have had a whole thing where that pilot's like can't get over Goose being dead, but he fixes it.
It would have taken our breath away.
Yeah, exactly. But we don't get that.
And then,
'cause he saved him.
so he just flies away?
Basically, he drops far enough toward that they gets off the radar with his magic.
That's
science
literally
suit.
the whole thing Rhodes is there to do, is to say, like, it was a training exercise, everyone. Look at me. It's a training exercise.
He's
You
there to
shut
shield
up.
him from consequence from the military.
Yeah.
And then Pepper finds him, right? Getting out of his suit. Is this where that happens?
Yeah, getting unscrewed.
She finds out he's Iron Man in this movie.
Yeah, she walks in to see him in that little Vitruvian man thing, and he says to her, we get a funny pause, and he says, come on, this isn't the weirdest thing you've walked in on me doing.
Yeah.
And then it tears off his limbs.
It sure does.
It malfunctions and just tears him into four pieces.
He gets cornered
torso
right in front of her.
Slaps on the
and the
ground.
Marvel Cinematic Universe ended right there.
I just imagine like a torso with one arm.
Right.
Just
Dangling. Dangling. And Jarvis is like, don't tell anybody, please.
Finally, we've killed him.
they'll erase
We can
me.
be for it. We can be together now, Pepper.
The voices are quiet.
I've always loved you, Pepper. Your love makes me human. Little arms start moving towards her.
Yeah.
And then they talk about that, I imagine.
She's mad at him, and like right when they're about to sit down and talk, OBGYN S word shows up and sound blasts him.
Really?
I think, yeah, he
Don't they
sound
get
freezes
pizza? Isn't he like,
brings
hey,
him
buddy,
pizza.
let's have a pizza
He brings
pie.
him pizza.
Yeah,
He's
let's have a
playing
talk.
piano.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, I brought you your
And-
favorite pizza from New York. Have a slice.
Oh, because
From New York?
Yeah, he had it flown.
yeah, he had it flown in.
They're super rich, dude.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, there's just no amount of money that makes that pizza taste good.
He was in.
If
well,
it's been flown from New York, it had to be flown in like a supersonic jet in like 5 minutes and like parachuted over.
He brought it with him because we get we get the end of some deal that he was out in New York talking to investors or something,
Right.
and Tony asks him how it went. He says, "Well, not well, but what we know where he actually was out murdering those guys in the desert.
Right.
Yeah.
So he quickly
He stopped in New York to pick up a pizza.
yep.
I think what's happening here is that there's just, and these are in LA. There's just a restaurant called like Tony's New York style pizza, and Tony Stark didn't realize
no
that that's
idea.
not from New York. Yeah,
Full
it's
Michael
just, he
Scott.
keeps
I'm here to
bringing
get a
him
New
that.
York slice.
Yeah, and he just in his mind, it's like, oh yeah, like he's bringing me these from New York.
Yeah.
Like I think he has a childlike understanding of the transportation of pizza.
Yeah. He can't be an expert in everything. You know what I mean? Like he's not Aristotle.
Yeah.
He can't know all knowledge. So he's chosen
Yeah.
pizza, delivery, and time. That's an area I'm going to let Jarvis know for me.
Right.
Jarvis knows it. I don't have to know it.
Yeah, I built Jarvis to keep track of stuff like that for me.
Somebody
Right.
remind me how we get to the point where Tony asks Pepper to go to his office to look up what
It was
old
after
boy
the party.
is up to. Okay.
It was after
Does
the
she
party.
swap? Does she swap his heart in this one?
No, I
Yes.
think it's at this point. It's at this point.
The proof Tony Stark has a heart,
Yes, this
Yes.
where
is.
she like frames his
yes,
old.
that's this one.
Yeah, I think she brings him that at this point, and I think this is when he asks her to go to the office and check up on Oldby
Okay.
Yeah.
because he.
So we missed a few beats
I think so. Oh no, wait. Yes, no, it's earlier. I'm sorry.
because earlier he
she
does
goes
the
and
heart
finds
swap
it,
where
right.
she gets inside of him, she penetrates him, and like he's like, get my heart goo. There's goo in me.
Yeah, you have to stick your hand in my chest goo and
Yeah.
kickstart my heart.
Does he think
Right.
this is erotic?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. So like
She comments on how smelly it is.
They've done. I think in the future when they're an item, they're doing chest stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like flatlining.
She's peeing in that hole.
yeah.
yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course.
What else
They
what
call it
else
the sizzle.
would you do to it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Call it the shower drain.
So yeah, she found that junk on his computer and put it on a thumb drive and runs away. And then Oldby immediately turns on the computer and sees that she's stolen it. And as she's running out of the building, she's speed walking. Agent Coulson is there, who we hadn't mentioned before. Has been trying to talk to her for the whole movie, trying to talk to anyone from Stark, Tony or her.
right.
Yeah, he's trying really hard not to admit that his organization is named SHIELD.
Is S.H.I.E.L.D., yeah.
He's really
saying the whole thing.
He's working very hard to obscure that fact. I think that's really his whole full-time job is like, we can't call ourselves SHIELD even though it's obviously what we should. Because if we
and
do
why
that,
wouldn't we?
Yeah, right. Because
yeah.
why, like, nobody else uses an anagram.
I get it if it like spelled out pedophile or something. If they're like, we don't want to call ourselves that, but it's like just call
Guys.
yourself Shield.
Guys, to be honest, we need a new name.
Yeah.
It's not just the fact that there's too many words in this name. First of all,
Yeah. Why does it spell out pedophile?
Why does it spell?
Who invented
This is the
this?
name we came up with. This is the
Yeah.
only one. How many
But, like,
letters is that?
It's also that Shield does what a shield does. Like when he's explaining
of
what he
course.
does, it's like, why wouldn't you
Strategic
call
Homeland.
yourself?
I forget. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like defense, I assume, is the D.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, wait, hold on. What does SHIELD stand for? We know this. We need to know this for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So Strategic Homeland
In
And-
infrastructure.
Infrastructure Defense. Strategic Homeland and Infrastructure Defense. Is that what it stands for?
That would be Shald.
Yeah.
There's no and. Strategic Homeland Infrastructure.
Oh yeah, IE. I'm spelling it wrong.
Yeah.
Strategic Homelander.
Infrastructure.
Strategic Homeland Infrastructure.
Electronic stuff.
Electronic lick
Edging.
defense.
Edging. They defend edging.
Yeah.
Dave.
Yep.
Strategic
Hold on.
Homeland
Are you looking
Infrastructure edging.
No.
Logistical
Logistical dudes.
I want to write it down. Strategic
Yeah.
Homeland Infrastructure.
Infrastructure edging.
Yeah.
Structure. Edging defense.
Long dudes.
Oh, edging long dude. Edging long?
Edging long. Long. LONG.
Yeah.
Edging law dudes. They're just
Law dudes.
law dudes.
Law
Edging
dudes or
law-
long dudes?
they're
I was
law
saying
dudes.
long dudes. As in
Long
length.
dudes.
I thought they were,
Strategic Homeland Infrastructure edging long dudes is what I have.
that's what we have written down.
That's what they do.
What is?
I'm
is that what
writing
we're
that
living
down,
with?
and then yeah. Okay, so he's like,
Okay.
and they're like, yeah, and it's don't just call yourself Shield, and he's like, why would I call myself? Why would we call ourselves Shield? All we do is
strategically
protect people.
homeland and infrastructure.
And all this other shit.
edging long dudes.
Yeah, we just
But yeah, she says to Coulson, yeah, we can talk right now. Follow me out of the building. And he and all of his shield dudes follow her out of the building.
like a shield from Oregon shit.
I kind of enjoy
Who's
that
going after her?
Coulson has a few moments in this movie where all he's trying to do is be like, I'm a secret government organization who has all the answers you need. And everyone's like,
Right.
nah,
We already know you're Iron Man. We'd like to talk to you about being Iron Man for us.
Yeah.
Right, like it's really obvious that you're Iron Man,
Right.
and we're on top of this. And like, I guess, I mean, it's the meme, it's the party meme. Like they don't know I'm secretly Shield, because he's like sitting there. But like, so because what we learn in later is that like they had an Ant-Man already, like they had a Captain America already. So Shield during this time has just been like. Things used to be like really rad for us in like the 70s, and now we're just like we got like I assume we got like defunded or something, and we've just been like sitting around waiting for rad shit to happen again.
Yeah.
Since like the 70s, and then they see this Iron Man, and they're like see like Tony Stark
It's back. It's
being
back.
like, and they're like,
now
yes, we get to do stuff.
That's rad. Finally, something rad.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That with called the long dudes.
Yeah.
We're back.
Call them
back.
We
We're
got.
back.
We can stop edging them. It's time
Things
to go
are rad
all the
again.
way.
Okay, so she
Yeah.
leaves with
She leaves with Shield. Tony
Colgate.
gets ear frozen by
Yeah.
Obadiah.
Yeah, his blood thickened.
and he takes his heart.
He takes his heart so he can take it back to Stark Industries and turn on his Ironmonger suit.
For what reason is he doing that now?
Because he wants a rad
To try
suit.
it-
What
To
is
try it
Old
out, I
Stain
assume?
doing? He's just like, I want to. Like when he turns on that suit. Wait, I feel like hold on.
And he makes it based on the scraps of Tony's suit from the desert because he steals it from the
Right.
Yes.
guys after he kills them.
But like,
Correct.
okay, he takes his heart, so he's like, Tony's dead. I killed him.
Yeah.
He's going to be found with his heart torn out. Won't be suspicious at all. And I'm taking this, and I'm going to go put it in this suit, and then wreck up the place. Is he just like, I want to do evil now? Like me,
I
business.
think he's been
businessman.
awake for 14 days, probably at
Yeah,
this
yeah,
point.
Yeah, because
Lots
it
of
And
jet
seems
this
lag
is
like
just the inevitable result of it. He's just
I'm
Phil
like-
Spectoring out right now.
yeah, because it's sort of like, how does this get you what you want now?
But it's
Oh, it doesn't.
reasonable. It's reasonable to think that he's actually just trying out the suit to make sure it works. Mm-hmm. And
but
then
he's
Tony
Othello
shows
starts
up.
like wrecking up the place.
Before Tony shows up.
The
All right,
Shield
hold on.
agents show up, is what happens.
Right.
Pepper comes back with Shield
That's right.
because she saves Tony, doesn't she? Or she comes
No,
back
I thought
as
Tony crawls to get his
he
heart.
crawls
his
and his,
other
and his
replacement
arm
heart.
hands it to him. But doesn't she show up at his house after that? I thought.
I think she becomes a damsel. I think like,
she does at this point. She shows up with
the longers, and
with Shield, and there's a bit of a fight there, and he's going to shoot Pepper, and then Tony shows up, and they fight.
Right at this point, yeah, like Olga is like he's point of no return. He's like, I have to kill all these people. And then plant guns on them. I guess for the cops.
Agency on his ass too. He's already punched up through the basement of his own business. One of the buildings, I guess. It's in the arc reactor. It's in their big arc reactor.
Yeah,
facility at Stark
seems
Industries.
like if you were, concerned about marketing this new power, because he does want to do that, right? That is part of why he's stealing the little arc reactors.
I don't know. I don't know
He
what
thinks
he wants to do
he
at this
definitely
point.
thinks there's money in the small version of it. But we hear him say earlier that the big version's a science project, is what he calls it, and there was never really any money in it. But that's not the point.
It shrank down.
That's not the point, Olga.
He also yells at a guy who's like, "I'm going to make a Mysterio," but we don't know that yet.
Yeah.
In the when he's like, "Box of scraps," that's to a guy who's going to make a Mysterio later.
Yeah.
He yells at
But that's
poor little Ralphie.
yeah.
So, I mean, then the rest of the movie is kind of just suit fight, right?
Yeah, it's suit fight.
Yeah.
Well,
Part of the way he beats Old Badiah is that he flies up, and Old Badiah chases him.
and he's like, "Did you solve the freezing?"
Did you solve the icing problem?
Yeah.
Because Old Badiah, man, he stole it. He didn't build it, so he doesn't know. He's just trying to use this shit.
Right. Meanwhile,
Just
Jarvis
like he mooched off Tony's dad.
Right.
Meanwhile, Jarvis is watching the feed on it at home, and right as Tony says, like, "Did you solve the freezing problem?" Jarvis is like muttering to himself, "Did you solve it, Tony? Did you?
Yeah.
Did you solve it?"
it? Because I feel like I solved it,
Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah.
Did you?
In fact, I'm going to unsolve it right now.
Yeah. Let me save
have
your
to promise
stupid
to
life yet
marry me,
again.
Tony.
He looks over at the
Dipshit.
arm. He looks over at the arm. Wouldn't it be awesome if I said that to Tony? Be awesome. Be
Yeah.
awesome if I said that to Tony.
One of them's
you
patting him
think-
on the back. One of these days. Just patting the back of the monitor. Because he doesn't have a
Do you-
physical body yet. Sorry.
Do you think Tony has made love to that arm?
Sure.
He's probably involved in lovemaking.
Yeah.
Again, if we're putting a phone into everything, I think putting the possibility of Tony's sexual urges is even more primal.
Oh, right.
I mean, he's
Everything.
definitely fucked in the suit.
They're all self-cleaning for sure. Everything
yeah.
that machine produces is self-cleaning.
Yeah, I just figured he let that arm jerk him off at some point.
Probably.
Why
Yeah.
wouldn't he?
Maybe
Yeah.
that's why he treats it so badly. Is he's
Right.
negging that arm.
He's negging the
That's what
arm.
he's doing.
That's why it's
Yeah.
always trying to please him.
So
Yeah.
okay, so they fall to the ground, and then I feel like Pepper's in danger in some of this. I think she has to like run from it earlier.
She's still outside. Like she has to run away from Oldby as he's rampaging up from his basement and smacking away some of the other
Okay.
Shield guys. But then he's about to shoot her, and then Tony shows up.
They fight in the freeway, and then Iron Man. Does he like tear him out of his suit and just crack him in half? Like I'm trying to remember
He's
how
throwing they're doing a fight. He's throwing a bus at him, or like a family sedan or something. So Tony has to save some more people.
Right.
And then I thought that he like flung him into the arc reactor. Like I thought
they wind up back on top of the arc reactor building.
yeah,
And he tears Tony's helmet off,
right.
and I think one of his arms too. One of his suit arms, not his actual human arm.
Yeah.
That's right, yes, because he has a bare hand. When he has to hold the glass at the end, it's with a bare hand. He doesn't cut himself, but that always bothered me.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
that always bothers me.
now Oldby opens his suit too, but it's this big like mecha thing where it's like a mech warrior thing where he has to have two joysticks.
Right. And he's like sweating, and he's like, Tony, call an ambulance.
And he's he's like actively having a heart attack. No, he's like
This is
rock
a
hard,
mistake.
man. He's like, this is fucking great, Tony.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna kill you with it.
It's a real Titanfall situation in there.
Yeah, it's pretty
like
dope.
Yeah.
It feels like he's running a Titan from Titanfall for sure.
So he
I'm just
yells.
sorry, I got too much shit on me. Can't breathe in here.
so much fucking shit on me. Except he's really stoked about it.
I'm closed in, Tony. I'm closed all the way in. It's too tight.
I don't even want to be around anymore.
I'm trying to breathe quick, like breathe slower, so it doesn't freak me out so much.
All right, so
So he shouts down to Pepper to overload the arc reactor so it'll blast up and basically smoke anything electric. And also, kill you.
Yeah.
And Tony says, Pepper says as much to him. She says, you'll die. And he's like, well, just, do it. So she hits the button or whatever she needs to do to make the arc reactor overload. And it blasts the shit out of old Badiah.
Okay.
He's electrocuted to death, I guess, or at least to the point of unconsciousness. It doesn't matter because he tumbles face first into the reactor and it explodes.
He pulverizes his body. Yeah.
He didn't get to shut that little hatch. So
Right.
He was just, it was like the tank commander
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
his
end of
legs
Last
are
Crusade. Right.
His
The bottom
legs are
half
fine.
of his body is fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Count Olaf, like the top of him is just it's mush.
Yeah. Yep. It's all dust. And this causes the first of many blackouts because of Tony Stark. Right.
Right. Oh yeah.
The town of Santa Monica has many blackouts.
Right.
To look
Apparently
forward to.
this was on the grid somehow.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I think it's the energy from the arc reactor ate everything electric is what they were saying would happen. So I guess that's
Right.
it, like an EMP.
So kind of
The movie
what
version of an EMP.
So kind of most people's experience of this is pretty similar to like realizing there's a SpaceX missile launch. And you're like, what the hell is that thing in the sky? I guess I
Yeah.
don't care. Oh
Your
man, the power's
goes
out
and you're
again.
like,
Damn
son
it.
of a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what most people's experience was.
And then we get the press conference? Or is there more?
No,
Is
it's
Emmett
pretty
Pepper,
much
do they
just the
smooch?
press conference.
Press conferences, yeah, that's how we wrap it up.
They do not smooch. They very pointedly do not smooch.
yeah.
Okay, and then everybody's like, so Tony, what's happening? And he
He has a press conference where he's supposed to we hand him the cards. Like Shield is back there with him.
Mm-hmm.
They've instructed him to read this written thing that says it was a bodyguard of his in an experimental suit, and it was like a testing thing that went awry.
right.
And he gets out there to read the speech, and
And he
people
kind
are
of
asking
does.
him-
He kind of reads it.
he starts
Yeah.
to read it, and then he just starts swinging, and he's like, people are asking me if I'm Iron Man, which would be fantastical and crazy, and just we
And
can't.
I would never want to do that really a lot. I would never want to do that a lot.
Yeah.
I would never want to. I would never get really excited about the idea of doing it.
Right.
Never.
Yeah, being the sweet robot king of the world, I definitely don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he says,
And then his
you know
goatee
what?
quivers with
Trembles ever so
anticipation.
slightly.
Yeah. Yep.
And then he says, I am the Irons Man.
Yeah.
I am
And everybody
Ironsman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody goes,
Everybody
"What?"
comes.
Everybody high fives for the 2 years between that and the sequel.
Yep.
Just 2
Right.
years of high fiving.
And then we get credits. What is the graphics of the credits? It's like iron.
It's an
men?
exploded view of the schematic of his suit.
A bunch of blueprints.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a bunch of blueprints.
Yeah.
And the song is
I am
I am
Ironsman.
Iron Man. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
That checks out.
And you're like, oh yeah,
And then-
that was the song that he must have known
All right.
and sung.
And then we get post credits.
The first
It's
post-credit
is
scene.
it Thor in the desert?
No, the first post credits is I want to tell you
Oh.
about the Avengers Initiative.
Right.
Yes, it's Nick Fury.
It's when he walks back into his house and Jarvis has been deactivated, and he's
Yeah,
like, "Whoa!"
Jarvis is like, Daisy, Daisy,
Yeah.
I feel death. And then, so Samuel L's like,
Jackson steps
I
out
am
of the shadows.
Iron Man,
Yeah.
you fool.
Yeah,
And
Samuel
he's
Jackson's
like, how'd you get into my,
yeah, old boy Stain deserved to die, and I hope he burns in hell.
Yeah.
And then
Tony shoots him because he's an intruder.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And then he says, my name is,
Nicholas Fury.
I got this,
Yeah.
Nicholas Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you about the Avengers Initiative.
Yeah, and then
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
yeah,
And the movie ends.
that was
Yeah.
it. And we
That's
learned
it.
everything we needed to know about Iron Man.
Yeah.
And so what did we learn? What is like in terms of this as a parable, as like, we're
Yeah.
passing on a story.
Yeah, why have we recounted this to each other?
Yeah. What are we teaching?
Honestly, so the first thing I think that this movie is designed to do is say "fuck you, Batman." I for real on every level, right? The first level is like this is Marvel's version of Batman, right? Like, or at least half of the Batman narrative.
Yeah, we're doing Batman. What if Batman was had better tech?
Yeah, so that's...
Because like it is funny because it is like the most childish version of "fuck you, Batman,"
100%.
which is like, what if he had a better suit? His suit is better. His suit
way
flies.
better. Not only that, but the idea of him looking at camera and saying, "I am Iron Man," which, let's be honest, was pretty cool when it came out.
Oh, it was great. It was also an improv.
Yeah, really, that's pretty rad.
Yeah.
Is the thing that feels the most "fuck you, Batman" to me. Like, sort of like,
Yeah.
I'm going to take the
He
whole
is like,
Batman
"I'm
problem and
Batman."
rip it up. You know?
I'm Batman. No, that was so. This I really liked this movie when it came out,
Same.
and I still like this movie.
Same.
And like, I think that was the best thing about it because like people forget, but
It's the
at
first time it
that
was
this moment in
public
time.
identity,
Yeah, at this moment in time, one of the rules of a superhero was nobody can know who they are. And it was sort of like, to me, that felt like very exhausting mystery box, which was like, we all kind of expected it. And it was like, okay, so like movie 2, like it's that thing where like, you know, you're watching Spider-Man, you're like, just fucking tell Mary Jane, for Christ's sake,
Right.
you know?
It's gonna
Where
happen.
it's that, right, where there was always that like, simulated drama around like he can't say who he is, and it's like the fuck he can't. You know, Superman could be like, "Hey, I'm Clark Kent. What are you gonna do about it? You gonna shoot me? You want to try to shoot me?" Where it's just like just fucking. And so like there was something cathartic and surprising about that, right? About being like, "Yeah, fuck it, I'm Iron Man." That was yeah,
It was cool.
it was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, without this movie being a wild success, we would not have the endless pantheon of films and
Well, give a
superheroes.
little credit to our next movie we'll be covering.
I
The
will.
Incredulous Hulk.
Yes, I
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
I will do that. I promise you. It'll be a good hour and a half of giving credit to it.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Perfectly remembering that movie.
Yeah.
We will be doing.
Expertly.
Mark Ruffalo really
Fine
made his
detail.
presence known.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. Eric Bana was great in that one.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. But yeah, what other lessons? You're right. This made the MCU, obviously.
So this movie
Having all the
has
money
a,
makes you right.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of movies say that.
Yeah.
This one says it more than most. I mean, the redemption arc of Robert Downey Jr. is probably one of the great Hollywood stories of all time. Like the fact that he was
yeah.
a successful actor, had a very serious addiction issue that he overcame to become one of the most successful actors ever again.
Yeah.
Is, you know, a good story. Like, that's a nice story, you know. And also, he's, I think, still the very best performance in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. Maybe
It's built around him, I think.
yeah,
It
maybe
is, yeah.
all superhero movies ever. Like, I might take him number one over any superhero thing ever.
He's the most fun.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe Heath Ledger's Joker is right there. It's like right in that conversation, you know?
Yeah.
So that's cool. I would also argue if this movie doesn't work, we don't have superhero movies. Like we have one or two in the last 20 years, but not.
I'm trying to think
500?
of like the stuff that came out before this. And like obviously the Spider-Mans were fun. But I do feel like for a while superhero movies were like more serious. And this movie, especially like we had the Dark Knights coming out, which were great. Mm-hmm. But this movie was sort of like, what if we had fun?
Yeah, Batman.
Like that's the vibe where it was like, what if it's not like so serious? What if we just had fun?
Begins came out before this. This came out the
Correct.
same
The
year,
same year as Dark
Knight.
Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like, I just want to recall Unbreakable, which was a few years before this, where like
Yeah.
the idea of, you know, what if superheroes were real life things was like a cool
Right.
story idea. You know what I mean? Like we've just blown so far past that, where you could never make that movie again, Unbreakable. And that's
No, why
not
would
that
you?
right, and that's not that
Yeah.
long before this. It's a few years. You know, so
Yeah.
I don't know,
8 years.
yeah, but that's not a lot of time. It's been 15.
Not in movie time. No, yeah.
No, it's been, you know, a long time. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts on what makes it significant.
Yeah. Mine is that, you know, I definitely remember it in detail.
Totally.
as
Very
we've
memorable.
shown.
Yeah.
And we will continue to sort of definitely remember every movie in great detail as we go through. And this will never fall apart, right? Like our memories of these films. Like Iron Man, starting with Iron Man, because that's where you start with the MCU. Is definitely the one we probably all remember the most.
Yeah. It's the cornerstone of the narrative. Therefore,
Yeah.
we've plugged the glowing heart of our memory into the machine, and it will operate correctly from now on.
Yeah. It
agree.
will slowly stroke us off while we're sipping coffee and building another hot rod
And
robot.
screaming disapproval at it the whole time.
Yeah. Threatening to sell it to children.
Great.
Any other final thoughts, Tom? Any other lessons?
Any lessons? I think this was the lesson from this movie is that superhero movies didn't need to be so dang serious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
so too. But the moral
Even
of
though
the movie
the
is
Spider-Man movies were pretty campy.
they were. I just think we had like a dip, and then they were like, "Remember the fun? Remember fun?
Remember fun?
And it was like, right, I
Yeah.
remember fun. Yeah. I think what it is mostly is we saw the beginning of the meta, even in this movie, which
Yeah.
is the "I am Iron Man" part, where you're like, "Oh, you can just throw it away, like you can just start throwing your narrative away in a way that's kind of refreshing, and will always be refreshing. We'll never get bogged down with meta."
I think this movie is still the Marvel tone.
It
Like
is.
they've never when they're nailing it, it's still this tone. You know,
Yeah.
the movies that don't nail this tone are the ones that we don't like. I would argue.
I mean, they're certainly all chasing this tone
Yeah,
for the most part.
absolutely. This is so the template that the next movie we're going to cover needed to be corrected by making another
They were
Iron
like-
Man movie.
They were like A/B testing. It
Yeah.
felt like because
Yeah.
these both came out at the same time. They're like, which
Roughly,
one's going to be
yeah.
good? Yeah, which one are you going to like? Oh, it's this one. All right.
Hulk came out, I think, 5 weeks later. 5 or 6
I-
weeks
it's-
later.
That's wild.
I'm excited to talk about and perfectly remember Hulk because like it ties into the new Captain America.
The new Cap, it is, yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be
Great.
Very important, very
yeah.
important movie to recall. So
So
we'll
we
do
look
that
forward,
for you.
Yeah, we're going to do that for you. We look forward to you guys cherishing this memory and passing it on to your children when the time comes, just as we've done for you.
yes.
You know, rest
Yeah.
well, little marvels.
Yeah. Sleep. 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 Is that it? Can we?
We can be done.
Well, Adam, do you wanna tell people where you can be found other
Yeah.
than on this podcast?
Well, not if they have a warrant. I don't want to tell them, but if but they
fair.
have to
Yeah,
prove
what's
that,
to know?
So yeah, no. So you can find. Let's see what's relevant for them. You can find all my podcasts at Small Beans, except for the ones Dave and I never did. There are many podcasts there, including ones about Cowboy Bebop and directing movies and sharing stuff with Maggie Mae Fish and video games with my buddy Mike. So we do all that there. I have a podcast series that's actually a video podcast with Maggie on Nebula or YouTube called Lynchpins. It's about David Lynch's movies. And I have a movie that one day will be available. Apparently, it's going to be screening in like 50 theaters in Florida. It might already be doing that by the time you are listening to this. So look up Sanibel and see if it's screening. That's what I've heard. That's going to happen. And finally, if you dare to go to a comedy website called Cracked, you might find a video series that Michael Swaim and I are doing called Escort Mission.
Do it.
That is about us talking about video games. So, you might want to check that out.
I like video games.
Yeah.
Me too.
It's a fun little thing we're doing. So,
Yeah.
those are my
I'll
things.
plug our Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. GAMEFULLY unemployed. We have exclusive podcasts on there. For just $5 of your dollars a month, you get access to Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder's Maniacs, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and Spiel Boys. We will be wrapping up Fox Mulder soon, but we have something else for you. We also watch movies every Friday night with our patrons.
We do.
And we have a bunch of other tiers, so check that out.
Yeah. We also have a store. You go to gamefullyunemployed.com. You can find a link to our Teespring store where we have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs by cool original artists like Michael Vincent Bramley, Starlene Hodge, Justin Brown, and others, so check that out. Also, check out our new show, Badical, Badical, wherever you find your podcasts, and rate and review. It helps.
Oh, yeah.
Rate and review.
All right.
And as they say over at S.H.I.E.L.D.,
See you long, boys. See you long, boys.
We're marveling. What's your price for flight to travel back in time to 2009?
No, wait, it's 2008. It's fucking 2008. God fucking damn it. That's what we get for fucking marveling.